the last 2 wins. And then from there, I thought, all right, well, they seem to have struck a chord there with that secondary and some areas that I'm kind of excited about. And the next thing you know, then you got this break. And they needed the break because they were not healthy. So I get that. But I'm anxious to see them play. I know it's UMass. As we start the week, I get that they're, obviously Florida State, massive favorites against one of the worst teams in all of college football. But I also, it's more about the process. I sound like coaches everywhere these days. It's more about the process. I want to see, do they continue to build? Is there good communication? Thank you, Tony. Is there, all that good stuff? Or do we watch this continued growth? Again, outcome is separate. Let's say you win the game 49-7, whatever. How do you play? How do you communicate? Are you locked in? Are we able to give good high marks, should I say, to these segment groups again? Because they've all really kind of, and that's kind of, if you go to warchant.com, you'll see we did a roundtable there and talked about this defense and what needed to happen in the second half of the season and what's gone wrong and what's gone right and who do you like and who's really disappointed you and all those things. And, I still think there's plenty of room left. We've got a lot of season left to see real growth from guys who maybe have been disappointing up to this point. And then we've got other guys that have played well who I think will continue to play and get better and better and better as the year goes on. And I'm anxious to see them play. So I hit the ground running this morning. You and I played at least half of a charity golf tournament today. And that was a lot of fun too. But I woke up with my mind on 2 things, playing golf with you and hanging out. And then also Florida State game week. Here we go. Let's continue to see this climb.
No, I rather enjoyed listening to Mike Norvell speak to the assembled media today as we were wrapping up on the drive down from where we were at Golden Eagle to the studios. I heard his comments, and he was describing how, for recruiting purposes, this week has been absolutely critical because when you boil it down to his time here since he took the job, he's had one collection of time that amounts to about 20 days in which he can travel throughout the state and region to fortify relationships with high school coaches. And last week, they were able to do that once again.
Do that, yeah.
They could sneak out, he said, the Friday before they played Notre Dame. They got around the area as much as they could, but that's more the immediate area. This was a chance for them to go far and wide and actually, instead of a Zoom call or a phone call, shake somebody's hand and ask them about what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And how can we, make our relationship stronger? Wink, wink, nod, nod. I'm sure there was a few things that might have been wink, wink, nod, nod, but I don't care. It's critical. And if you think about how long he's been here and he's had essentially less than a month to get those relationships in line from a recruiting standpoint, this last week was critical, not just because we got healthy on the football field. We're getting healthier as a program because you've got to be able to make those relationships count for something.
Little worried as we continue to see guys here and there decide to take it on down the road or reopen their recruiting process. We're not shocked to find out about a Lou Ba, who I brought to the program, Tom, personally. And I seem to have failed us for the first time in a long time. I got that commitment out of the blue. I told you I felt it deep down in the cockles. I couldn't believe that I was able to have my sway, no longer with just defensive tackles that I've successfully brought in over the years, but beginning to feel that it was going to merge into the offensive line as well. And Aluba was the first to fall victim to the way that I throw it out there. But then somehow
did a parcel get lost in the mail?
I don't know.
One a month, right? Are we supposed to be sending one a month?
I've got to talk to my people, Tom, because for whatever reason, my man has, we lasted that commitment through the summer, and then we got off to the slow start this year, and he kind of worried about it and began to wonder, and now he's seemingly going to take.
I think that's the end of that. Yeah, I don't know that you can. You call it re-de-re, right? But I mean, it's actually like D-re. This would be a D-re.
Yeah, you commit, then you decommit, then you recommit. And so you have the re-de-re's that we've had in the past. You don't think he's going to be a re-de-re?
No, but I do think what gets really fun here, if you look around the world of college football as it pertains to our remaining games, we could be amongst our regional rivals. We could be in the healthiest place of all of them by the end of the season, outside of Georgia, Alabama. Like when you talk about LSU, Florida, Miami, you look at a lot of these programs and what they're going through right now. If we capitalize on this momentum, you got to go out and capitalize on the momentum. The win over North Carolina is not going to stand on its own at the end of November if it's the only big one that you got. But if you parlay it into a 5-win season, maybe dare to dream a 6-win season, kids could be looking back at our program and saying, maybe I've made a bad decision. Maybe I need to go to Florida State. Some good things are happening there.
Well, in addition to what you talked about with LSU and what we talked about last week, and we had some fun with it. But by the way, watching Max Johnson play, I'm unwavering in that I'm picking up the phone if that phone call is made, Tom. But no, there are plenty of guys that LSU is in on or currently on the roster, and maybe some linebackers. Now that we know they're moving on from Ed O. And by the way, the more you read about that Ed O situation, LSU, how would they have not moved on sooner? What a nightmare. I mean, if a lot of the allegations are true regarding his inability to kind of keep it together around the ladies.
Keep it together.
Keep it together.
Yep, that's right.
Keep it together. Yeah, that's not good. Not good. But yes, to your point, Florida loses to that operation this weekend, and that is something to see a defense give up all those points to a struggling offense. And then Miami loses in heartbreaking fashion to North Carolina, a team that Florida State just easily vanquished. You do get excited about the possibilities for what remains regarding Florida State's season, what's possible in the win column, what's possible in garnering or currying favor from certain recruits that have been looking at those two institutions, those three institutions. Maybe you got a shot. We'll see. We'll cross our fingers there.
I got to say, full marks to LSU, though. Way to handle the situation, because Auburn has been put in that type of place a lot with Gus Malzahn. And for years, he'd pull the rabbit out of his hat. He'd beat Alabama and save his job. And they didn't have the guts to say after a big win or a shocking win, no mas, we're done with you. LSU, you get the win over Florida, unexpected for the second straight year. Is it like beating Alabama? No. But for where they are right now, it's a good result, really good result. And the immediate reception to that win was Edo saved his job. How about that? Another week in the sun.
Nope.
And they said, hell no.
No, he didn't
hell
save his job
to the
at all.
no.
No. Hey, so for those that are newer to the program, maybe you just started listening when we got onto 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV, and you weren't a regular listener for the last 20-plus years of the Jeff Cameron Show and all of its variety. I would say this. There is a saying when a coach gets let go and is able to retain monies owed him, and that is a kiss my ass on Main Street. Did you see just how big a kiss my ass on Main Street moment this is for Edo? So this may be the biggest kiss my ass on Main Street in the history of Kiss My Ass Main Street on the Jeff Cameron Show. This guy's a scumbag. This guy, who we now know probably any number of times could have been let go for cause, right? Or with cause, is going to get and be able to recoup and claim the remaining $17 million on his contract and avoid what appears to be, anyhow, burgeoning legal troubles. That is a hell of a kiss my ass on Main Street. I cheated. I'm unscrupulous. I'm perhaps a bit of a predator, but you're going to give me my $17 million for me to walk away. And at 60, he's 60. 17 mil to walk away. He ended up getting a ring. Take it to the beach, Edo.
Yeah, go
Take
Tiger.
it to the beach.
Go Tiger. That's what he says.
Well, what would you do? I mean, there's no reason to dip your toes back in the waters at that point. Call it a day. There was speculation today in The Athletic. Well, where would Ed want to go? That's, first of all, what AD is clamoring to bring that guy in? Secondly, if I'm him, where do I want to go? The south of France. Wherever I want to go. I'm not doing this every day, all day, 70 hours a week, just so that I can lose and go work where? Yeah. No, man.
Well, it ain't going to be TV unless they got like Bayou Sports Network. Like, he can work for the Bayou Sports Network. But
it ain't going to be TV is right. That's a toughie. That is a toughie. Let's see. What did I do? I had Nebraska. That's a big L. I'm going to finally have to leave it alone. Scott Frost. That's a no-show. Big W for Texas A&M over Mizzou. What was the final of the Purdue-Iowa score? I know that Purdue won the game.
It was like 24-7 in the fourth quarter, wasn't it?
I think was the Matthew, you got that final? They dominated the game.
Matthew's like a scoreboard check in the first segment.
Well, I want to see that I get my under. I think I got my under that
we'll find out. I was on the golf course for the afternoon slate on Saturday.
Well, Purdue did dominate.
24-7 was the final.
You're damn right. That's another win. Win. Under 44 right there. Texas Tech minus 16.5. I told you it's the gift that keeps on giving. I think they won that game like 50-something to nothing. So another W there. I don't think I got my Iowa State K-State under 51.5. I'll need Matthew to do a check there. Also check on Western Kentucky Old Dominion over under 66. I don't think I got the.
He's like, what?
What?
He looks like McConaughey smoking a cigarette. He's coming after me in the opener. Usually it's a monologue.
Come out swinging. Green Bay covered easily. Kansas
53
City.
was the total for your Iowa State game. 53 was the total.
Oh, man, I just missed it.
That's a bad beat.
That's a bad beat indeed. Give me Western Kentucky Old Dominion, 66 the number. What do you got?
63.
Son of a. All right. That humbles you. Did get Green Bay, did get Kansas City, and the Bucs screwed me by half a point. It's a winning week.
Yeah. The Bucs did.
Oh, buddy.
We talked about it on Friday, but that's finding a way. When they lined up for two, lot of people in a lot of casinos or in their own living rooms were like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me."
Well, especially because I was sitting there trying to do the math. I was like, why are you going for two here? Is this just to screw those that have minus 6.5? What? Why are you doing this? Just kick the extra point, make it 28-21, and let's go. Why are you going for two here?
We've got a really good play. We repped a really good play in practice this week.
Admittedly, you're seeing it more and more. You watch these 2-point conversions. Carolina's 2-point conversion.
Oh, the shovel pass? That's unstoppable.
But it's a double shovel pass. It's a double. They faked the first and then gave the second. I was like, what are we doing? A little double.
That's good body language there.
Give it a double. I was like, what is going on here? They faked the first shovel. There's another shovel. It's a double shovel.
Yeah, the double shovel has been repped. You could tell because of how comfortable Darnold was running that play.
It was clean.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm waiting. I'm patient.
There's no trouble here. To you, but I do shovel to you. That, my friends, is a double shovel.
You know what that is, too?
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
Or
a two-point conversion in this case.
But it's also a lineage play. You know who runs the best shovel passes in the NFL? About the only person who does the last 10 years? Sean Payton. I guarantee you that's taken from Brady's time with Sean Payton.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. He calls the shovel better than anybody else in the league. And you don't really see anybody else. Maybe Mahomes every once in a while will run a play like that, but Breeze used to run the hell out of that.
Yeah, well, it beat him throwing overhand.
That's why. You know, there was one day where Peyton's like, we need a shovel.
We got to get a shovel here. My man cannot get the ball 15 yards down the field.
We need another shovel to bury this guy.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so there's that. That said, I see the shovel passers made a huge comeback. I'd like us to run it more frequently because I love it.
Low risk.
Oh, I love it. Every time I see it, I love it.
People always freak out, when the ball hits the ground if it's incomplete. Yeah.
Forward. Yeah. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Real Talk 93.3 wants you to win $1,000. Why? Because money talks.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Your next chance to win is coming up during the Jeff Cameron Show at 2 p.m. Listen out for the keyword, then click on the Real Talk Money megaphone at realtalk93.com. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, I just can't get enough.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise...
Online at widdenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future.
When some slithery, slimy something shows up uninvited in my home, I want it gone. Now. Not next Tuesday, not tomorrow. Today. Pretty sure I'm not sleeping knowing that thing is crawling around in my house. That's why I call Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Here in Tallahassee, Paul's guarantees same-day service if I call before 1. Ants, roaches, mice, wasps, fleas, whatever it is, Paul's responds with guaranteed same-day service. Pretty sure I've never heard that from any other pest company. Guess that's an advantage to being a locally owned and operated company like Paul's Termite and Pest Control. They're here and make things happen fast.
We at Paul's know when you have some pest or rodent in your home, you want it out now. That's why in Tallahassee, we guarantee same-day service. You call us before 1, we'll be there before 5, guaranteed. That's our commitment to you. The health and protection of North Florida friends and neighbors is the reason we love our jobs.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Learn more at callpauls.com.
Nya, nya, nya. Ba, ba. Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe. The broken Bunsen burner burns so bright. Southeast Asian Peninsula.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
I think the only line we need from you today is drivers who switch to Progressive could say big.
Cool. I just got to finish my warm-ups. Foul, throw in the towel. History.
Switch to Progressive today.
Santa ski slalom in a salmon skin suit.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now he speaks Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I listened.
Can you repeat the story?
Yeah. It's not bad. But I was getting on a plane to go to New York City with the school newspaper, the Centurion. I was a writer for the Centurion, and we were going to New York City, and I had never been to New York City, and I was 16 years old.
You were about to get robbed, is what you were.
I did get robbed at the Port Authority. It's a toughie, but that's it. Lesson learned: don't stare up at the big tall buildings while you have a lot of money in your pocket. Yeah, I was a mark. They had me. I was going to buy tickets for Knicks Sixers, and I had everybody's money. And that also is a mistake. Don't give all your money to the kid to go down to the Madison Square Garden ticket office to buy. That's crazy. When you think about it, that truly was the 80s. Anyhow, so yeah, because we had, various parents that went on this trip. They're like, yeah, send Jeff down to Madison Square. That's crazy.
Any one of you lazy bums, adults?
Yeah.
Yeah, you take care of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a wide-eyed kid. Anyhow, that album came out right before that trip, and I was already a fan of the Replacements, but then that was like their effort to mainstream, and that video made it to MTV, and I remember being shocked because they had always been anti-video, and I was like, oh, there's Paul Westerberg, this is amazing. And I heard that and then got on a plane, and off to New York City we went, where I was gleeful, Tom. It was pre-robbery, but I was gleeful indeed. Really quick, some roofing companies say they're the best in town with the best price around, and safety is their top priority, but they don't always have your best interest at heart. At T-Spark Enterprises Roofing and Construction, they undergo regular safety training and are constantly being educated on new techniques and new materials, like becoming master metal applicators. It's my favorite read. Master metal applicators. That should be a band. Have you considered a new metal roof before? Long-lasting and durable. You're in luck because T-Spark Enterprises Roofing and Construction are the best in town. Period. Call them today, 766-1340, or get a free quote today at tsparkconstruction.com. Master Metal Applicators.
I put that on my business card.
I would too. That's all it would say. It had my name in tiny letters, but Master Metal Applicator. They're like, this guy, what does he do? I don't know. He's a Master Metal Applicator, though.
Next to phone, it just says, trust me.
They do this every week. Feldman does his rankings of those that are on the hot seat, vice versa, and all that. And they include just about everybody from every division. He goes lukewarm, cold, hot, all. And the only reason I looked at it is I've been enjoying the reads because back to back they've had Manny Diaz and Mike Norvell right next to each other, and he has written repeatedly now that it has cooled considerably now that the Noles have won 2 straight and there are on-field signs of things turning around. Not the same for Manny, Tom. Not the same for Manny. But I'm torn on this since we were just talking about coaches getting fired. I want Miami to win a game or two here. They don't need to just go and make a good hire. Keep Manny around for a little while.
Well, the speculation amongst some people who are dialed into the Miami community, super
$8
fans,
million buyout,
is that they don't have that kind of money. And so therefore they would not be a candidate to hire some of the names that are out there. Not even Mark Stoops.
Not even Mark Stoops?
They need to.
You can't afford Mark Stoops?
I would think on the open market, he'd count for what, $4 or $5 million a year now at minimum?
I like Mark, and he's done a good job. Obviously, we saw Georgia just deliver the ass beating that we said, that might be close for a half.
Mark strikes me as the type who would take a pay cut to go to a job he really wants at an institution where he's always about the long play. That's what he did at Kentucky when he pitched them. He showed them the long plan of how he could get them. It's going to take 5 years. It's going to take 7 years to get here.
It's a smart plan, by the way. If I take a job, I'd like to tell somebody who's paying me multi-million dollars, you got to invest in me for 5 to 6 years.
Well, of course, it's smart in some ways, but also at a program like Kentucky, that's also the truth.
Reality,
Somebody tells you they can fix the program in 2 or 3 years at Kentucky. You tell them there's the door.
Yeah, that'd be a lie.
That's not going to work here. But Mark strikes me as the type who would understand that in the long run. But still, some people that I know who are dialed into Miami say they'd have to find some new sources of revenue that they just don't have right now to make that type of move.
Did you catch the picture of him sitting in the corner by himself? I mean, there's nobody else on the field. It's long after Miami is lost in really devastating fashion to North Carolina. Batted ball in the air, the whole deal. That looks like a lonely man. I felt bad for him, oddly.
Well, he's a Nole, even though he's wearing the wrong garb.
Yeah. He was. He just stared by himself. Whoever took that picture, that's a great picture. He's just by himself. There's nobody in that stadium, staring off into the sky, thinking to himself, "Oh man."
He's thinking, I've made a lot of money,
Well, I would be thinking that too. Maybe he's about to get his own special Kiss My Ass on Main Street. $8 million to go away again. Give me the kind of job in which I get fired and you pay me millions to stop working. Sure. Greatest gig in all the world. When you're in it, it's really difficult and you work tirelessly, obviously. But knowing that you've got a golden parachute if you fail, so long as you don't do something absurd or illegal off the field, as long as you don't ruin the university's reputation because of your behavior, or you don't go to prison, or you don't do something.
You don't go back to Columbus to see the PR rep yes, the PR rep that you met at a previous event.
Yeah.
You don't go back to see that person. Not a random person who dragged you out of a restaurant for pictures.
I have wondered about this for a while. It's not so, he had time before that press conference, Urban Meyer. How is it yet again? So it's one thing for me to say that moment in time revealed once again what a scumbag he is. It's another to then say, and that it reveals that he doesn't have friends and all that, obviously, because they could have shepherded him from that situation. Urban, this is not a good look. We got to go. There are people here with cameras. Let's ride. All that, right? So none of that happened. But you have the whole night. Now, the internet and stuff on it, it happens quickly. Things go viral very quickly. It did not take long for those pictures to emerge. He knows damn well what he was doing. He knows why he went there. He knows why he stayed behind and left the team in the lurch. He knows all those things, right? And the next day's presser You have the temerity to once again stand up there and tell everybody that you were there to visit the grandkids. How he had time to think of that lie. What are we doing, man? How dumb do you think everybody is?
Well, it's true if I have a nickname that, the grandkids are a nickname for something. That way I'm actually telling the truth. It's like the end of The Informant with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Remember where they go, stop?
Yeah.
Because he's just sitting on the couch. He's caught, and he tries to come up with something.
And they're like, stop.
Stop.
Just stop.
That's who Urban is. Literally, that's who he is, walking the earth.
You had time. It's popping up everywhere, all over you see what's happening. You've got the pictures. There's the video, different angles, all of it. Sit down and think this through, my man. You can't come out with that.
Grandkids, Trevor Lawrence, Vegas. Got it. You've done it again, Urban.
I'm just going to double down that once again, further proof he's not close to anybody. Because you would bounce that off your friend. You would bounce that off of somebody who cared about you, and they would say, that is insane. You can't say that. That's going to get easily proved wrong within an hour of you announcing that.
Interesting move, though, by Trevor Lawrence in England. Did you notice that he had his hand on Urban Meyer's shoulder as the kick was going?
Mm-hmm.
The winning kick for the Jags, who are no longer winless. Good job, Jacksonville. You have just relegated Miami, it feels like, to your level, which is awful. But Trevor Lawrence stood with Urban, knowing full well the cameras would be on in that moment. It's an interesting move. A move that a leader would take to try and rally the troops a little bit from the rookie.
Well, I think it's suffice to say that Clemson has missed that type of leadership or ability to say the least. By the way, watching that game, we have not had a chance to talk since the end of that game.
Mm-hmm. Easy cover.
Buddy, the kind of problems Clemson's having right now feel a lot like the kind of problems that began to reveal themselves in 2015, 2016 here.
God, I hope so.
One can dream. One can dream, because it feel like it has to be more than just an offensive line issue. Like, they have recruited not the offensive line exceptionally well, but the amount of talent on that team that is going to waste week to week.
Yeah.
Something else is going on.
Oh, you saw moments of mental weakness and some critical moments. Remember the drop over the middle? I think it was first half, and Justin Ross comes off it, rolled his ankle, he goes in the injury tent, and he's fine. I'm like, oh, sir. That tells me that you got some guys cutting corners. Little moments like that. But what's crazy is you had 2 low percentage throws and catches that ends up being just enough for Clemson to win the game, one of which is a fake punt. It's like a back shoulder prayer throw that I think is 82. I forget the kid's name. The guy goes up, makes an incredible adjustment on the football and lands inbounds, first down Clemson. They scored just before halftime. There's 20 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is. And then the throw late, the touchdown on the right side of the end zone where the kid gets his leg down. Those are the athletes that Clemson has to make the difference in those moments. But you need moments like that in order to beat Syracuse by 3?
Yeah.
Sirs, what are we doing?
I continue to marvel. Again, I watch that every week now, and I keep waiting for them to turn the corner because there's so much talent. And every week, here we are in the middle of the third quarter going, what is going on?
It's the interior of that line that's getting destroyed. The tackles are all right, but the interior is just god-awful.
Before the year began, it was the number one reason I picked Georgia against them. It was the reason that I thought you might see some struggles at Clemson, but I could never have guessed this kind of struggle.
What would the score be if the two of those teams played again, neutral field, Georgia and Clemson?
Oh, 30-something to nothing?
Yeah, right. They got the best chance they were ever going to get at Georgia.
They did. First game of the year, and they had that defensive line intact. And, and Georgia was also beat up going into the first game of the year, which is really weird. Georgia, and I talked to the guy, we talked to Rodney DeBolsi and others with Georgia every week. In fact, I'm going to talk to him again this week. But they talked about how messed up their preseason camp was. They were losing receivers. They were losing defensive backs. They were losing linebackers. Guys were dropping like flies. And they went into that game, and they knew they had a depth of talent, but they went into that game really beat up. Last week when I talked to the guy from Georgia, we had a different rep, and he said, well, look, every week is different. You'll see. I mean, they could have a bad performance. He goes, but the problem for everybody else right now is that Georgia's just now getting healthy. They're getting all the Burton back. They're getting all these guys back now.
Injuries at the quarterback position.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they're getting people back. Man, You're hard pressed. Yeah.
What's interesting to me is, and I know Skalski was back for this game for Clemson on Friday, and there was much ado about the linebackers if you watch that broadcast start to finish. But if you look at advanced metrics on Clemson's defensive front and run defense, even with Skalski in, they're good, but they're not Clemson good. They're not what we're accustomed to seeing the last 5-6 years, where it's just you've got no chance. Sean Tucker did better against that defensive front than he did against ours.
I know.
That's where you start to go, well, and that was announced today.
Yeah.
That was a 3:30 kick. It's not a night game. All right, so that's good. It's always going to be loud in that building, but it's a 3:30 kick up at Clemson on ESPN in a couple of weeks. I don't know, man.
Oh, are you daring to dream?
I am daring.
Are you daring to dream out here on a Monday before the UMass game?
I'm not calling it, but I am daring to dream and consider. Clemson has given enough. There's enough evidence that they put out there, especially now that you have a like opponent in Syracuse, not too far apart those games, where you can say, play for play. We controlled the game against Syracuse. Play for play. That was a 50-50 game between Clemson and Syracuse. We found ways to make it interesting at 9-0 and 30-20 against the Orange. And then we ended up winning in the end because of some fluky scrambles from Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
But that game was much more in doubt for Clemson than it was when we played. So head-to-head, okay. I'd take that piece of evidence, and it makes me go, maybe could happen.
Yeah, also, just note here, go ahead and get this game, through this game unscathed, knock on wood, get this win, continue to build on your momentum. That'd be 3 straight wins. You go up there. Clemson swirling controversy. Look, they'll be huge favorites over Florida State, as we know. Not nearly as big of favorites as we thought they would be preseason.
Yeah, what do you think that line's going to be? It can't be bigger than 11.
That's a tough call.
I'd say somewhere between 7 and 10. That'd be my guess.
I would, I might go sub 10, 9.5.
Right.
Somewhere there.
Somewhere to induce it to move on the other side of 10. One way or the other.
Yeah, one way or the other. Yeah, I agree. I would just say, though, that it's interesting for us. We're in the position right now because, and I know you watched over the weekend and we got to go to break. The fear I had about NC State being really good and that the Mississippi State was just a weird hiccup game is true. That they are really good on both sides of the line. They're good at quarterback. They're good at running back. Big receiver. They're good.
That felt like the easiest game to call, though, given what Boston College is going through at quarterback. We talked about this when we were doing our picks on Friday. And then if you look at Boston College's resume and the games they played, that first month of the season, they played, like Holy Cross and Colgate. So it's not like, even when they were getting fat, it wasn't like they were beating Power 5 teams or conference opponents and they were laying waste to them. Sure, they played Clemson tough, but everybody does. Georgia Tech played Clemson tough. So that's not even that impressive anymore. And then you look at what NC State has done on both lines of scrimmage. That was an easy game to call.
It was, but I think NC State, along with Pitt, has emerged as, the two teams that I look at in this conference where I go, they're pretty good teams. Pretty good teams.
Isn't the matchup Pitt and Clemson this weekend?
Yes, and Clemson could very well win that game. There's a part of me that thinks they will win that game. And what does that do?
Really?
Man, Pickett's played great. Their offense is humming. I'm looking at you, Clemson. I don't care. I hope
they're on the ropes. They're on the ropes.
They got popped. They're a heavy favorite in the fight, but their eyes are watering, and they're holding on, trying to get out of this round. And I'm curious. I don't know. There's a minute left in this round. I mean, what's going to happen? That Pitt game, they could be taking a knee.
Will they be like the late Screech Powers? Will they be saved by the bell?
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Fire Department responded to a call about a structure fire at around 5:45 a.m. Saturday morning. Upon arrival, 5 fire department units saw heavy fire and heavy smoke coming from the Red Hills Power Sports motorcycle dealership buildings located on Capitol Circle Northeast. Units initially tried to go inside and do a quick interior attack, but were unsuccessful and went into a defensive attack to stop the fire. Nobody was inside the building at the time, and TFD is still investigating the cause. The owners say the building is a total loss, and while they are devastated, they want everyone to know they'll be back soon better than ever. In a decision handed down Thursday evening, Judge J. Lane Smith said the law prohibiting businesses from requiring customers show proof of vaccination did not violate the First Amendment. In his order, Judge Smith did not say whether the vaccine passport ban was a good idea, only that the decision belongs to the state's policymaker, the Florida legislature. Attorneys said it was too soon to decide whether to appeal. This is Rachel Anaya with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 74 this afternoon. Under cloudy skies, easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 54 tonight, partly cloudy skies. High temperatures reach up to 81 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Low 80s Wednesday and Thursday with a chance for scattered rain showers Thursday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 71.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Top 10 worst candies of all time. Go ahead.
All right. The first one that I had were those weird lollipops that have the circle down on the bottom rather than a stick.
Not on the list.
All right. Poorhound candy.
Don't know what. Can you even say that on the radio?
It is a thing.
Not on the list. Move on.
No.
Not on the list.
Apples with razor blades in them. Give me that ding. You know it's on there. Yep.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I got a new point. I wasn't exactly stunned to see Tennessee fans ire at the end of that game, but golf balls, come on, man. What are we doing? Get it together, shig-a-dig-do.
Yeah, full beer bottles, all that
Get
stuff.
it together,
You're going to get your alcohol
shig-a-dig-do.
responsibilities taken away. You know, there it is. Your privilege is gone.
It's funny.
I can't trust you.
You and I think so much alike. It's crazy. I'm watching the end of that game, and I see the golf balls and, you know, all that, and I see the mustard packets and whatever else. When I saw the beer cans, I went, oh, you folks, there's 100,000 plus people in there. You say about, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 were the unruly a-holes that were throwing things. The other 100,000 plus people that aren't throwing things are like, yo, man, I hate that guy too, but I really like ice cold beer at these games. You're killing us. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Privileges revoked. You hillbillies cannot handle your beer.
Yep. It's the quarterly pizza party when you're in fourth grade, you know, and your teacher says, I'm sorry. You just haven't earned it. You haven't earned it. And you look at the 5 kids who always act out every day. And you know what? The next recess,
beat downs.
That's correct. We're going to sort some things out here.
Yeah. The soap. Remember I told you about
That's
that?
Right. We're getting our Bigfoot pizza, sir. We are getting Bigfoot, and we're going to get it next Friday. And if I have to duct tape your mouth shut, I'm going to do so.
So every network now has their own plus service, right? Where they with streaming service, everything, you know, it's whatever it is. So NBC became Peacock and all that other stuff. So, you know, have you ever looked at the AMC Plus?
I mean, I've seen it advertised, and they've got their own shows and stuff. But
right.
No, no, sir.
I only bring it up not because they're paying me. I wish they would. But you can stream Halloween 1 through 5, Halloween H20, H2O. You can
H2O, yeah.
You see, but it was 2020. That's really
right,
what. Yeah,
right.
You can stream 1 through 5, H2O, Resurrection, Halloween 2007. You can stream them all for free right now. It's a free trial, Tom. I'm telling you,
This is a promo read. I thought you were going somewhere with this.
I'm debating whether or not to scare the hell out of my kids.
Oh, just the first one. That's all you need. We're all we got. We're all we need. Just the first Halloween. That is a classic.
I like the second one too.
They're fine. They're fine. But it's like, Rocky 1 tells you the story. Different varieties of the same story being told thereafter.
Rocky 2's good.
Rocky 2 is good. But
even Rocky 3 is good.
It's a different variety
That
of the
gets
same
shaky
story.
after 3. But
well, 4 is an awesome movie because it's basically, yes.
No, the speech at the end is terrible.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah,
That's what it
a
is.
cartoon. But 3 is good. 3 is legitimately good.
It's an
Remember
entertaining.
the first time you saw Mr. T, you're like, whoa, I don't think he can beat Clubber
Yes.
Lang.
I was like, man, my name's Lang. I don't look as jacked as that guy does.
He's in that, like, it almost looks like a dungeon of an
Yeah.
apartment, and he's doing the pull-ups.
Oh.
Like, forget about it.
You know who spent so much money on that movie too? It was Nike. You notice everybody's wearing the Nike stuff. And that's before Nike, I guess, was all that cool. Maybe they were emerging with the Jordan brand. I don't know. But I remember seeing that Clubber Lang has the Carolina blue, man. Those trunks were gorgeous.
Those were gorgeous trunks. A little short. But
That was the era.
That was the era.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It was all, I mean,
Can't
even
do
the
that.
slow motion running
I'm
scene. You're like, oh my
what
God.
are we doing, boys? Yeah.
I don't need to see the upper half of your quad, dude.
Plus, also tucking in tank tops are just not what we do. Why
Oh,
are we tucking in the tank top?
Well, I don't know what's going on in that era of filmmaking. Like, you think about the slow motion running scene with Apollo and Rocky.
The homoerotic nonsense.
Right.
They zoom in. You're like, what is
Which,
going on
whatever,
here?
but
Yeah.
it was subliminal messaging is
Yeah,
what's
it
going on.
was.
Like, think about Predator and it's also, what is it about Carl Weathers? He's in the middle of it
always,
all.
Always.
Dylan, you son of a, and then they slap 5 and then they just show
They
them both
show
flexing for like 10 seconds. Like, why?
What's going on? I don't know. At Jay Cameron Show. Good job, Caleb. So when Jimbo gets the LSU job, what are the chances we see him with a jersey that reads Jimbo, B-E-A-U-X, on the back?
Oh.
Actually, they should do that.
Yeah.
That would be the headline, right?
Yeah. That's going to be used. That's going to be overused.
But I would imagine. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean.
Jimbo. That's very good. Minus 5,000. That's going to happen.
Well done, Caleb. That's true. Wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. They'll go after him. Who else fits for LSU? I mean, again, I think if you want to go young and you think he's got the recruiting chops, then go after Joe Brady.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows the program. He knows the area. Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. But we'll see. Maybe Joe's got aspirations. He's on the fast track to being an NFL head coach if he wanted to be. That's where you've got to get inside the mind of that person. And if you've got somebody, if you're a media member, that is, that knows Joe Brady closely enough, well enough, he's doing fine in Carolina, that he's going to get some interviews for NFL head coaching jobs. And they are very different gigs. You and I were talking about it last night on the Smash with Dan Mullen.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Mullen, in theory, fits much better on Sundays than he does Saturdays. He can't relate to people. He's a doofus, but he can game plan with the best of them. So wouldn't that fit better as a GM's coach rather than the head of a program?
Yeah. Bruce Feldman wrote that Scott Woodward obviously wants to make a splash, and he likes splashy hires. So James Franklin is a guy they would look at. Obviously, Jimbo is a guy they would look at in short order. Would they go after, I don't know. If you're
See Napier's name thrown around.
I saw Napier's name. I saw Mel Tucker's name. Good for Mel Tucker. He's got Michigan State undefeated, and he's done a remarkable job.
Aranda hasn't done enough at Baylor yet to warrant consideration, but he's doing a good
He's
job.
doing a really
and
good
he knows
job.
the area.
They talked about, you could look at Dabo. They talked about looking at Dabo. I don't know why you would leave Clemson to go to LSU.
I'm here in the real Death Valley now. That was a decent limited.
That wasn't
Dabo.
terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
No.
It sounded too smart, but we'll get there.
You got to stumble over things and then throw down an ultimatum somewhere in there about what you're going to do if society doesn't work.
Well, I'll tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to sin. We're not going to sin in this program.
We're not going to score many points this year either. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
When you need a plumber quick,
How long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. We've experienced a couple of blockbuster months recently. What does that mean to you? It means we have a whole lot of quality pre-owned vehicles. And just when there are rumors about high prices on pre-owned cars, you guessed it. At Kraft Nissan and Infiniti, we are discounting every single pre-owned car, truck, and SUV on our lot. Instead of Dad dreaming of a new truck or SUV, why not bring him out to the Kraft Brothers lot on Mahan Drive to look at SUVs and trucks and match what he wants. Kraft Pre-Owned has dozens of Toyotas, some Ford F-150s, and Ram 1500s. And of course, we have a big supply of Infiniti and Nissan vehicles. If we don't have what you're looking for, we will do our level best to find the car you want. Let other dealers charge you too much for pre-owned cars. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti are saying right now is the best time of the year to save on a quality pre-owned vehicle. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti of Tallahassee on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if the car you are looking for doesn't have the Kraft tag on it, you'll pay too much, way too much.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Those sons of bitches, they smacked us right across the face on Sunday morning. How glorious was that?
It was great. They smacked me across the face with ragweed, too, though. I was a sneezing fool yesterday, enjoying the temperature, but sneezing like crazy.
I stepped out early Sunday morning and just thought, oh, my God, whatever I do today, we went over to McClay Gardens. You got the scarecrows everywhere right now, Tom. Big scarecrow day at McClay Gardens with the family.
Do you enjoy that?
I did enjoy that. Yeah. A lot of these groups, they were voting on the best scarecrow. So you could vote, like when you go in, you get your little sheet and you vote on all this, and they're themed. And so a couple of them were hilarious. I loved them. Like they were absurdist humor, just outstanding. You got to go bring Jamie and walk around. You'd like it.
Were they like celebrities or something? They're supposed to be likenesses?
No.
What's the theme?
They're themes. Like there's different themes. Like one of them was like an aquatic scarecrow that ate people. It was fantastic.
Cool.
I was like, that is great. Yeah, no, that was good. Some of them were, one of them was a kick out COVID scarecrow, and he's kicking you could see like the little germ.
Oh, the virus?
With
like the pins in it?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Jonesy, thank you very much. Where would Edo go with that kind of reputation, Jeff? Liberty. That's well done, Jonesy. Appreciate you. And we also had somebody else step in here and do the right thing. Troy, fellas, it's Troy from the high country. Yes, in Wyoming. Coming to the UMass game. Can't wait to see all the changes over the past 20 years. And, of course, try the corner pocket. Go Noles. Troy, it'll be a pleasure to see you when you come in from the high country, Wyoming. That's awesome.
He's been teasing that trip for months now on the chat and through contributions. So we look forward to seeing you, man. And that game was, we should still handle business. But, for about 2 weeks there, we thought, well, maybe it's a good thing you picked the UMass game.
Preseason AP Top 25 college basketball poll. They finally did it. Florida State is preseason ranked. Hey, everybody. There it is. Preseason ranked. We've established after 3 straight Sweet 16 appearances that this is a program of significance, whether they lose NBA talent or not. They are going to come back loaded, ready to roll, top 20 this year at number 20. But it looks like this in rapid fire. Gonzaga, UCLA, Kansas, Villanova, Texas, Michigan, Purdue, Baylor, Duke, Kentucky, Illinois, Memphis, Oregon, Alabama, Houston, Arkansas, Ohio State, Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida State University, and below FSU would be Maryland, Auburn, St. Bonaventure, UConn, and Virginia.
Oh, Auburn's always on my list. I don't like Bruce Pearl very much.
You love noting the fraudulence.
Yeah, I do. So we're ahead of them in the preseason poll. They are, it's a program that wins big games, though. So it's not like it hasn't been successful under Bruce. But I like to see that we're ahead of them. And I like to see for once that we're not behind Florida in the preseason rankings. People have finally learned their lesson in that regard.
Yeah, you can't find Florida in the preseason top 25 rankings, sir. They're not there. Can't find them.
And they're gone.
Yeah, can't find them. Old Mike White doing less with more on the regular. I would note here that there are a couple of teams that are going to catch our ire, Tom, that we just don't believe should be ranked ahead of Florida State. You ready? Let's see if I'll throw it out there. You tell me if you agree or not. Do you think that Alabama should be ranked ahead of Florida State?
I don't know what they have coming back. They've been pretty good of late.
This is unscientific. This is just an opinion based on nothing.
I would say they're about the same.
Okay.
We're in that same group of the non-top 15. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I prove it a little bit because we got to get a crash course ourselves on the Noles this year. I can't wait to learn about them. Looking forward to that.
I can't wait to learn about them either. And I know that they feel very, very good about what they do have. And I think in the near future, we're going to have a couple of guests on, including Coach Ham, talk about this team a little bit. I know he will. He's always excited to do so. And he's giving up his time. So we'll break this down. This is a team that, has some scorers. So a couple of guys that can score the basketball.
Right.
That's.
Well, and to have Caleb Mills here, even though he wasn't able to practice with the team, to have him here and
for all that time to get acclimated to the culture.
Well, the system matters. The system matters greatly.
I agree.
And your minutes are dependent upon your knowledge of the system. So you get the crash course on that. That's critical.
Well, and also you got to learn that bottom line is they think they have guys that can score, but they're not real sure about what they are defensively. So being here for a long period of time and learning this defense is probably the most difficult task, is figuring out what to do on that end of the floor. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
$93.3 wants you to win $1,000.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
It's time to win some cash. And here's this hour's keyword.
Bills. B-I-L-L-S. Bills.
Click on the Real Talk Money Megaphone at realtalk93.com to enter the keyword for your chance to win $1,000 in this nationwide contest. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, I just can't get enough.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. In May 2015, Colin Powell told graduates at Rice University to make their mark.
Go forth to make this an even more perfect union. Go forth and raise strong families. And remember that all you can ever leave behind is your reputation, your good works, and your children for the next generation.
Powell, former Joint Chiefs Chairman and Secretary of State, has died from COVID-19 complications. In a statement, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says the news has left him deeply saddened. He called Colin Powell one of the world's great leaders.
First African-American chairman of the Joint Chiefs. First African-American Secretary of State. A man who was respected around the globe and who will be, quite frankly, it is not possible to replace a Colin Powell. We will miss him.
His family said Powell had been fully vaccinated. He was 84. Also at townhall.com, the probe into what caused that oil spill off the Southern California coast earlier this month, turning up some new details. Ben Thomas reports.
Federal investigators are now focusing on a Panamanian-registered cargo ship believed to have dragged its anchor across the ocean floor during a heavy storm way back in January. The anchor is believed to have caught the underwater pipeline that leaked the oil, bending but not breaking it. The Coast Guard says the impact may have knocked off some of the pipeline's inch-thick concrete casing. However, it's still not been determined whether the impact caused the October leak or if the line was hit by something else at a later date or simply failed due to some other problem. I'm Ben Thomas.
Stocks are mixed in midday trading after opening lower on Wall Street. The Dow is now down 58 points, but the NASDAQ is ahead 93. More at townhall.com.
Spend a third of your life in bed. That's why we make the most comfortable sheets in the very best way. I'm Scott Tannen. 8 years ago, my wife Missy and I founded Boll & Branch to create the new standard in bedding. We source pure organic cotton and put workers' rights first. Today, Boll & Branch makes the highest quality sheets in the entire industry. You'll feel the difference of our famous signature sheets. They're made from pure organic cotton and get softer with every single wash. Now's the perfect time to try Boll & Branch sheets, pillows, bath towels, and so much more. Each is made with super soft organic cotton by workers who are paid fairly and have come to feel like family. It's time to make the better choice and get the new standard in bedding. Visit bollandbranch.com today for free shipping and returns.
Experience a new standard of comfort at bollandbranch.com and take 15% off your first set of sheets with promo code GOLD. That's BOLL and branch.com. Promo code GOLD.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. Get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The team that I don't want to see back in the World Series is the Dodgers. And so I found myself pulling pretty hardcore for the Braves here, Tom.
Whoa. Pulling pretty hardcore.
I can't deal with the Dodgers.
You jumped out of your couch last night when Jock Peterson went deep to right field?
I don't know. I jumped off the couch, but I was like, yes. Wow. I can't deal with the Dodgers, man. $700 million. Get the hell out of here with that. No, don't want to do it. And I can't root for Houston, obviously. Can't have them there. So, I mean, we're down to precious few choices, buddy. I wanted the Rays to go, so did you. Didn't happen. What are you going to do there? We wanted the Giants to go. Didn't happen. They lost in heartbreaking fashion. So there are some pretty unlikable choices to make here, and I'm rooting for a Boston-Atlanta World Series.
We are supposed to watch hockey at that point. That's what we're supposed to do.
These games have been good, though. They've been so good. You have to watch.
Oh, sure. I mean, that Peterson home run was prodigious last
indeed.
night.
It's fun to say the word prodigious, I might add. Just saying prodigious is fun.
And it aptly describes that home run where you go, oh, that's just going. That's like it's climbing higher and higher.
Yeah.
I mean, you could play some Creed underneath that home run because it's going out there. I was really happy to hear, though, that our colleague and coworker Corey
was there.
He took Brady with him last night. So they got to see that moment together. That is the walk-off, of course, is better. But just when you go from the air is let out of the building, you're up 1-0 in the series. And so you can kind of see how this is going. The Dodgers are going to respond.
Correct.
It's going to be 1-1. And then with one swing of the bat from a guy who's only playing full-time because of a COVID absence on the LCS roster, everything changes. Now it's a ball game. Now you've got the place going wild. That's really cool. And I'm sure those two are going to remember that forever. So awesome.
Well, the other reason I was happy for him is that he attended the record breaking in the wrong way, ass beaten at the hands of the Cardinals. That was the last time he was at a playoff game. It was 10-0 in the first. I'll never forget. I was leaving the studio. It was a day game we carried on the airwaves here and at our old station. And it was 0-0 when I walked out to my car. And you know I can't root for the Cardinals. So I'm walking out to the car and I was like, whatever. And then you texted me, have you heard the game? And I hadn't even, before I could even blink.
Yeah.
And I said, no. You're like, it's 10-0 in the first. So Corey was at that game.
Yep.
So good for him. He got to see this. And I too was pleased. No, it's kind of fun watching that team play. You said it all week long last week and the week before, for that matter, that you had to admit that was a likable team.
Oh, they totally are. And they're a well-run organization. They were laughed at for what they did at the trading deadline relative to other teams. And I was not one of those that was laughing. Like I take my shots at the Braves, but I can also look at things rather objectively and see if a team is good, likable. They got some pieces that were going to help them make a run because the NL East was open for business.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the Mets broadcasters making fun of the Braves. They were playing, I think it was 5 games in 4 days because of a doubleheader against the Mets. And they're talking about Atlanta like their season is over. And I'm like, Gary, that's our play-by-play. I'm like, what do you know, man? Their season's not even close to over, and they may be the ones with the last laugh here. And you know what? They've been knocking on the door for a while. For them to be able to do all of this without Ronald Acuna is just amazing.
Pretty crazy, right? Yeah, I agree. So the playoffs postseason has been really, really good. That excites me. I love the fact that we have the emergence of NHL, postseason baseball, NFL, college football, all coming together, a confluence of, it's almost overwhelming. It is a perfect time to be a sports fan. And then you get met with the football wins this weekend. You had to pinch yourself how great this was. Just sitting back, flip. You got 4 TVs working. It's unreal. This is 2 weeks in a row, but now we get the cool weather to come with.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier today, but we were out this morning playing in a charity golf tournament. We were able to play the front 9 before, we come in to do the job, which, that's just so difficult to only play 9 holes. And every single tee box, I believe our group, which included John, the GM here at Real Talk 93.3, we're all saying to each other, man, can you believe this?
Over and
this
over and
is
over again.
just perfect. Everything about it is perfect.
Well, and then to add to it, the Gators lost, the Canes lost. It's a beautiful thing. And thank you, Jason, very much. As he noted here, what a great weekend. Suck it, Canes and Gators. Yep, that's fun.
That's a big hand.
That'll work. That's an awfully kind gesture right there. I didn't answer this question, Riley, and coming off a bye week, as we get geared up for the UMass game, it really is a 2-week stretch where it's kind of difficult to sink your teeth into Florida State specifically and spend 2 hours talking about the Noles right now. So I have enjoyed playing the coach game where he fits here. This guy would be a good hire here. I do think Mark Stoops would be a good hire at Miami. I really do think that's the direction they should go if they make a move. But a lot of people, again, have come forth saying they just don't think that Miami's going to make a move. I don't know. I mean, it may end up forcing their hand here. I mean, if you think about what they've done up to this point, at some point, if you lose all your games,
yeah,
they may be forced to make a move.
Yeah, to Stoops, to answer his question, I know he's asking you, but Stoops scares me the most in Miami, just because it's not an immediate return. It's not a splash hire that's going to see them have the number 3 recruiting class in the country immediately.
No, it's not.
But he understands how to operate an organization that operates with less and finds a way to, in the long term, feed it out and give them more chances for success. And even if that means that he's a hire who's a table setter for 5 years, the program is going to be in a much better position if they got to a place where they're used to winning 8 to 10 games a season and they're looking for somebody to put them over the top. Mark Stoops is a guy who can fortify your program. I believe that wholeheartedly. I kind of wanted him here.
Well, I'm fine with what we have right now.
I am too.
Yeah. Mark just doesn't move the needle. He's a good coach. But I don't know that. And by the way, Briley's question is, Jeff, even if the buyout saves Manny through the 2021 season, they have to do something before next season because they can't possibly commit to a full season of this in 2022. What coach scares you the most? I don't know that there's a coach out there right now that scares me the most because I think any of the most viable or intimidating choices, like as it pertains to out-recruiting Florida State in the state, as it pertains to being a draw for kids who aren't otherwise thinking of Miami, those guys aren't taking the Miami job because the dirty secret about Miami over the last decade is that they have not invested in football. Their facilities are lacking considerably. Obviously, they don't even have an on-campus facility. They've got half of a damn practice facility, indoor IPF. They've got, any given weekend, 30, 40,000 people there in attendance. It's just not that great a job. It's just not that great a job. You need a guy that has a passion for it, gets it, understands that entire the fervor around Miami. The people that are passionate about Miami are really passionate about Miami. It's just not a large enough group. You've got to be able to touch into that community. And the number one thing you got to do, and I would have thought that Mark Richt would have been able to do this. Unfortunate for him, health issues, everything else, he ended up walking away. But you got to understand that you build a wall around Miami and you keep your recruits there. I mean, they got the most talent in any place in the country.
Yeah.
You can't have Florida State and Florida raiding South Florida on the regular, which is what we do. When we're right, when the programs in the Southeast, whomever they might be, are operating at peak efficiency, they just stroll on into Miami and grab kids. Jimbo did it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he found a way. Yes, he
immediately.
He had 2 position coaches that were solely focused on Miami, dividing it and conquering. And then Mark Stoops was the coordinator who presided over it, and Jimbo would visit every once in a while himself. But as a head coach, you're more limited there. He did the groundwork while he was the head coach in waiting. That was the blessing in disguise for us as a football program, is that he could found those relationships and cash in on them because he was the HCIW. The one thing I want to go over real quick is I'm not relitigating that I didn't want Norvell. I wanted Stoops more than Norvell. Once we learned more about Mike and people that we knew that had ties to Memphis or were in the industry, sounded like it was going to be a great hire. But the reason I thought Stoops would have been Mark Stoops, that is, would have been a good fit here at the time that this job was open, from Willie to the next guy, you needed somebody who could do more with less.
Stability. Yeah.
Right. We still are cash strapped as an organization. So you've got to find somebody who's used to operating with those parameters, not somebody who is used to, like Bob was, operating with unlimited resources.
Unlimited.
You need somebody who can find a way to make the budget work. And maybe they don't shop at the nice grocery store. They shop at the discount grocery store. And that's what Mark's been doing for a long time.
The weekend that was, what stood out most to you? Because obviously, I think most people listening to this show, and if you're watching on Warchant TV, or perhaps you're on other social media platforms, you collectively probably rejoiced late Saturday night for me. I think you all got very excited for me as you watched Utah hammer Arizona State, winning 35-21, knowing that my preseason Utah bet not only is alive and well, but now has the inside track. You're right. Thank you, friends. I appreciate your support. I felt it. I saw that it was omnipresent on the boards. People were excited for me, Tom. Were you excited for me? Were you up to see the ending? No.
Yes and yes. Yeah, I was up late on Saturday. Hey, man, I won the money list of my golf league. Saturday was a good time.
Congratulations to you, too.
Thank you. About 40 participants came out on top. That was nice.
Yeah.
So I was in a celebratory mood. For me, I think the biggest takeaway is this season is going to deliver a chaotic result, at least one every single week. You can just bank on it. You don't know where it's going to come from.
Purdue housing Iowa.
As unbelievable. Well, I was on the back nine, and I heard that LSU beat Florida. I'm like, are you kidding me? I thought that number was oddly low. Vegas had it at 11.5 when we were talking on Friday.
Yeah, and then it turns out that you're like holding on for dear life.
Wrong team's favorite, as Lee Sterling would say.
Yeah. That was a weird game. I know that Anthony Richardson made some mistakes, but he's clearly the guy going forward, which bothers me because now they're going to part with Emory, and that's the right move. I think you've just got to start Anthony Richardson at this point. It's already now going to be, no matter what happens from here, a bad season in Gainesville. I mean, they had higher expectations than this. Let's assume, I don't know that we can, but maybe you begin to assume a loss to Georgia as well, and the losses keep mounting. Tragic, I know.
It still seems like a spot where Mullen will draw something up for that particular game.
Maybe.
Not that they outright win, but, I mean, this season is just every week.
If you were to project, say, peach, cotton, orange, fiesta, rose, sugar, we're getting it's getting more and more interesting and difficult and fun, right? Because you could see, for example, a Wake Michigan State in the Peach Bowl.
Oh my God. What I predict is chairbacks will be visible on the television screen. That's what I predict.
Mm-hmm. And Oklahoma State beats Texas, and we warned that it might very well happen.
Yes.
And now what does that do to their good fortune? Well, it puts them in a position to likely end up playing a game against if they win they're not going to win the Big 12. That'll be Oklahoma. So who's the 2? Oklahoma's the 2. Alabama's the 3. Who's the 1 will be Georgia?
Well, Cincinnati's in there.
Are they the 3? Alabama 4?
Yeah, that sounds right at the moment.
Or is Alabama not?
I think, well, here's the problem. Alabama's got to win that SEC title game.
They sure do. And if they
let's
don't,
say that
they're
Georgia,
not getting in.
Let's say that Georgia outclasses them in Atlanta in the title game.
Just beats them, and then you've got 2 losses. And say Ohio State doesn't lose another game, and their 1 loss is to Oregon at the beginning of the season. They go on to win the Big Ten. It's Ohio State is in, Alabama is out. Period. At that point, it would be Cincinnati is in, Georgia would be in, Ohio State would be in.
But no particular order. You're not.
No.
Yeah.
It would be. Well, and assuming Oklahoma wins the Big 12, no, Alabama's done. If that happens, if they don't beat Georgia, they're done. They're not going.
And if they do, they're in, and Georgia's in.
Both would be. Yeah, I guess both would be in, and then who gets screwed?
So who would be number 1 at that point? Not Georgia. So could you have Alabama 3 and Georgia 2? So they play for the 3rd.
So then what? Ohio State or Cincinnati's the 1?
I don't know.
See,
we could get to that point.
This is getting. See, I wanted chaos.
Well, I know that. They bring the income.
What a weird season for the Big Ten, because Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, Michigan State's undefeated. Like, that league could have a slew of 10-game winners. That really is kind of crazy. I mean, hell, Michigan keeps winning. Now, a lot of these teams are playing each other, obviously. But still, like, let's just say they lose a game.
Right. Yeah.
Iowa doesn't even play Ohio State, so they may only lose that game that they lost on Saturday.
And then they get a crack at it in the title game.
That's weird, man.
So the conference championship games are going to matter greatly this year. I think that's the thing that we can say definitively at this point, halfway through October, right? Those games are going to be very, very important for the first time in a long time.
Get me a scenario by which Alabama is not in the postseason playoffs. Can we do that? No college football playoff for Alabama?
Wouldn't that be the second time in recent memory?
It doesn't feel that way.
No, but it
doesn't feel that way. I mean, get the hell up out of here. I mean, for that matter, give me a playoff with Utah, Cincinnati, Georgia, and Oklahoma State. No, I don't know. I say that out loud. I don't think I want that.
Well, I know that. They bring the income.
But it would be very, very beneficial for college football to have a bizarre Final Four teams in the college football playoff. Because you know Clemson's not going to be there already. And say Alabama doesn't make it. That alone is good for college football. And now this isn't me taking shots at those other schools that have done the right thing just by kicking ass and stockpiling players and dominating on the field. I'm saying just if you want to have something beyond a regional bias, you want a wide variety of groups that have a shot at this thing.
I don't think Alabama's going to slip up in the regular season again, but let's just say they did, and then they lose the SEC title and they're a 3-loss team. You could see Clemson and Alabama play in the Champs Bowl or something. There you go. There's your annual matchup. You go take it down to Orlando.
Hey, here you go, everybody. Alabama, Clemson on December the 7th. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Everyone has their own routine after a long day. For me, I like to take a walk with my dog, get some fresh air, maybe relax on the porch, and lay in my hammock in a nice shady spot. No matter what your routine is, you know the sound of those mosquitoes. It starts with just, then another, and then another. And before you know it, you're literally slapping yourself, running for safety inside. Pulse Termite and Pest Control has an inexpensive solution to this persistent problem. Pulse has a program that treats the grounds, flower beds, shrubs, and standing water, and it controls mosquitoes year-round, which means you can take back control of your yard and quit smacking yourself across the face. Enjoy your yard again, mosquito-free. Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control today for your free consultation for the elimination of termites or any other pest. Visit Paul's online at callpauls.com. That's callpauls.com.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
bottom of the hour. So we'll make way soon enough. Yeah, anyhow, the whole point was that for all the years that we've wanted some sort of chaos to ensue so that the jumbled mess at the top could help, I don't know, reveal some higher truth about this system being bankrupt. You're getting it this year. I don't know. It's, again, we probably are heading towards an expanded playoff anyhow, which is what people wanted that chaos to begin with.
Yeah, I hated that the Texas-Oklahoma move slowed those talks. I was just hoping that we could get that done by, I don't know, 2-3 seasons from now. We're looking at a 12-team playoff with some bye weeks or whatever, or 16 teams. It needs to be a lot bigger. It's ridiculous. If you think about it, we hate professional sports because there's too many teams in the playoffs. But look at the NFL.
Yeah.
You get 12 out of 32. That's a pretty good number, right? Well, actually, now it's 14 now. 14 out of 32 teams.
Can't ever go beyond that.
You go 4 out of 130? Like, we can do a little bit better.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. There are different levels of football being played where you couldn't consider 70 of those 130.
Okay, so 4 out of 60. Still, that's pretty small. And when you have done what the playoff has done, which is devalue the rest of the New Year's Six bowls, you've got to find a way to make other games count again, even if you know that Alabama would take out number 8 TCU in a random season. Like, they would be favored by 25, 30 points.
They would beat the hell out of TCU.
Well, force them to do so. Force them to do so and allow TCU the chance, to have an extra game, get an extra check, whatever. That's all good for the sport.
So we talked about number 2 getting knocked off convincingly by Purdue. That game wasn't really competitive, oddly enough. 240 receiving yards on 11 catches from David Bell in that game. That's the bigger story. Not that Iowa lost the game, because they always do against somebody that you go, that was middling. This was always going to happen. Iowa was always going to lose a game that they shouldn't. It's who they are. Just like they also win games that a lot of times people don't expect them to win. So that's just kind of the mix and the match what you get with them. But their pass defense has been legit for 2 years. To have a guy go off for 11 catches, 240 yards, that was a big story there. Moreover, I wanted to point out, as we correctly guessed, within that group of top 5 teams, good kudos to Lee Sterling, who said that Cincinnati would beat UCF in a throttling fashion. 56-21 indeed is a throttling. And I like to make fun of UCF's hire, which I did in the offseason. And I know they lost their starting quarterback. They're getting drubbed. That ain't coming back anytime soon. Also, you now have Caleb Williams as a legitimate superstar. And just like that, Oklahoma is probably a team now that you think is good enough to run the table in the Big 12.
Good enough, yes, but very interesting game with Oklahoma State now, right? Given when Oklahoma State plays a little bit of defense, Oklahoma still does not. That could be really interesting. It could be a game that 38-34, something like that. It lives in the middle. We're used to seeing 62-57 in those games, but it might be a little bit lower scoring this year.
I agree. What this season has done. Why am I bringing up these results? Well, again, Florida State didn't play, and they're playing UMass this week. 2, we're seeing the kind of this reminds me of a season prior to the postseason being relegated to exhibition. It was always exhibition football in a lot of ways, but when the bowls mattered more, all of those games felt, and listen, it used to be a big deal to go and win the Gator Bowl or the Peach Bowl or whatever, right? We used to place value on those bowls before the system changed. This season has given us enough games and matchups and results that have you wanting to see, even though you know that there are 2 teams competing in this particular game that are not going to be part of the meaningful postseason, because it has spread out. The amount of parity has spread out this year. You're getting great games. Like, did you think before the season that you'd care at all to watch Ole Miss, Tennessee? Maybe because of the Lane Kiffin thing. But other than that, that game, you knew that would be a good game. It was a great game to watch. Oklahoma State, Texas, 2 teams. I'm not a huge believer in Oklahoma State. They've won on defense. They run the football. They're effective in that way. They're kind of an average offense, a very good defense, oddly. But I wanted to see that game to see if Texas was mature enough to handle those kinds of games. Oklahoma State now wins undefeated all of a sudden, like you said. Oklahoma State is really interesting.
Yeah, and it's for a lot of marbles.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, games like Pitt, Clemson are really interesting. Pitt, Clemson is really interesting. I wanted to see North Carolina and Miami. Who wanted to quit more? Who was Well, 45-42 was a fun game to watch. We've had a ton of these. So this is a season that feels a bit retro to me, where every weekend, even though you knew it wasn't about going to the college football playoff or a Fiesta Bowl, but rather you just love the sport and you like even matchups and you think there's real intrigue in the storylines. This is every Saturday. There's 7 to 8 games. Like, why else am I watching Stanford, Washington State? You might not have, but I was. That game ends up being a 3-point game. It's a fun game. There are a lot of games like that every weekend right now, which is good. It's good for the sport that way. Ira Chaffel joins us next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department is currently investigating a shooting that occurred just after 3 p.m. at the Aqua Club apartment complex on Ocala Road Sunday afternoon. One victim, an adult man, was found by officers in a parking lot. He suffered serious injuries. He was taken to a local hospital for treatment. This is an open and active investigation. If you witnessed the shooting, call 850-891-4200, or you may also remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers at 850-574-TIPS. An incident at the Deep South Fair in Thomas County sparked a bit of panic among fairgoers Saturday afternoon. According to a spokesperson from the Thomas County Sheriff's Office, a ride malfunctioned, forcing riders to be stuck for a short period of time. All attendants were safely removed from the ride. One rider received minor injuries. The injured man was checked out by EMTs and then left on his own accord in good spirits. The ride was not restarted after the incident as machinery had to undergo an inspection, which was conducted Saturday night. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 74 this afternoon. Under cloudy skies, easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 54 tonight, partly cloudy skies. High temperatures reach up to 81 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Low 80s Wednesday and Thursday with a chance for scattered rain showers Thursday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 72.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Patterson High School participating in one of the first programs for high schoolers to be truck drivers. They talked to one of the participants getting a hands-on lesson in truck maintenance and safeties.
I don't know, man. With as many different issues and problems as you have with young drivers out on the road.
They're not the ones in the semis, though.
Are they going to like jack up 2 front tires and then lower the ones in the back?
That's the color truck.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Lane's Medical Shop offers all your medical supply needs. They even have delivery and emergency services available. Lane's Medical Shop, 229-758-9111. Tell them Jeff Cameron and Warchant.com sent you for a half-off discount. Let's go talk to my man, Ira Chaffel, Warchant.com. Hello, Ira. How are you?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. What do you expect to see this week? What do we need to see this week? I know we know it's a win, right? I can't assume that, I believe, over UMass. Just more growth, more continuing of what we talked about on the roundtable on warchant.com, just seeing the secondary get better and better communication. What do you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to evaluate from a game standpoint. When you look at UMass on paper, they're one of the worst teams in the country, in every category.
Mhm.
They didn't have a whatever 20-game losing streak or whatever it was by accident. They're not very good in any area. So really, totally 100% has to be about yourself and how you prepare and how clean you play. So I think that's going to be what the coaches are focusing on. I think that's what, I think as a fan or media, what you want to see in this game is, just Florida State play a clean football game, no turnovers, not a lot of penalties, not a lot of mistakes, just a clean, efficient game. And then theoretically, yeah, you'd like to get some of those young guys in if you take care of business.
It's funny. We've spent a lot of time today, Ira. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, we just need to see continued growth from Florida State. Like, this season is playing out so oddly across the landscape of college football, but specific now to the ACC. Man, you watched, I'm sure, on Friday night, Clemson struggle mightily with Syracuse. And you look around, other than NC State, is there all of a sudden, I guess what I'm getting at, the schedule suddenly gets more interesting. We thought it would be a whole bunch of imminently difficult games to win. Now they feel winnable. Dare I say, do we dream on a Monday like Tom did to start the show today that Florida State could be in a position, if they play well this week and to get out of this healthy, to go up to Clemson and play into the fourth quarter?
I mean, why not? I mean, for Clemson, for Florida State to not be able to do that, that's going to mean either they play terribly, which you'd hope they're past that, or Clemson just totally figures something out completely in the next week or 10 days, and it just doesn't seem likely. I mean, the issues they have are the issues they have. Their offensive line struggles. Their quarterback is not ready or certainly behind that offensive line. So their offense is just a mess. Now, if you go up there and play bad, then yeah, you could still lose a lopsided game. But if you play decently, if you play well, that's a game, yeah, Florida State should be able to hang in. So it's not like, there have been years in the last few years where you felt like, okay, Florida State would have to play out of their minds and Clemson would have to play terrible for it to be a close game. That's not the case anymore. I mean, that team's, very fallible. And, I think, as you said, the rest of the schedule, I mean, NC State at home is probably going to be a really tough game. But you like, your chances in some of these other games you never would have thought.
What stood out to you today at the press conferences? Was it the depth chart or something one of the coaches said? What stood out to you?
Nothing crazy. I mean, again, it was our second press conference during the bye week. We actually talked to them last week after the North Carolina game, so there wasn't a ton of new stuff to talk about North Carolina. I thought, one kind of interesting thing was, from a recruiting standpoint, just listening to, Mike Norvell and the staff talk about their opportunities to get on the road last week, because they really haven't had many opportunities because of COVID last year. And then during the season, Norvell's I think he's gotten to one or maybe two games during the season, but it's hard on Friday nights to get out to high school games. And, but they were, they had several days to do it. He saw games, I guess he said Wednesday through or Thursday through Saturday. And just the response they're hearing from high school coaches around the state, the interest that high school coaches have in the program, what they see for the program. He said it was a lot of, very positive feedback. And, a lot of the high school coaches were relating their experiences that, when they were building programs. And this is some of the, coaches that he went and watched some of the best teams in the state play football. So, so just some of that. I mean, I think it's just good for him and his staff to get out in person across the state, because they just haven't had that many opportunities over the last year and a half.
You wrote a story about the depleted wide receiving core, looking for a stronger second half to the season. We're all looking for a stronger second half from a lot of groups. We talked some in the roundtable on Warchant.com about that secondary. I think we see some evidence that there's some guys there maybe emerging as plus players. We'll see if it rounds into form with consistency. What, during your research to write the story, did you kind of come up with in terms of what's possible moving forward with this receiving core? Because they have a long way to go. They have not provided much so far up to this point.
Yeah, really. I was just more kind of looking back as much as I am looking forward. How you got to this point where you really just don't have much veteran leadership, and the three classes that should be the fourth, third, fourth, and fifth year guys at wide receiver, really almost totally depleted. You have three of those 9 signees remaining, and Keyshawn Helton, Pokey Wilson, and the other.
Oh, Jordan Young.
83, Jordan Young.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really play. So, and then Keyshawn was a little bit banged up earlier this year. So you just didn't have even you just were throwing young guys out there without really any veterans to lead the way. So, I think that, it's been trial by fire. I mean, I think that that's one thing that, you asked earlier about takeaways from the press conference. I mean, I think part of it, and it relates to that group especially, is, the first half of the season, some of these guys are playing or starting for the first time. And so you go through those, troubling times, you go through that adversity, and you look at these last couple of games and say, okay, they're starting to come through it. And so maybe you're through the worst of that. Maybe, it's not like these are all third or fourth or fifth year seniors, guys, veterans that have played and you've seen their ceiling. A lot of these, newer starters, defense like DJ Lundy and Keelan Deloach, some of those Sidney Williams, some of those guys, this is their first year extensive action. So they've kind of played through a lot of their problems. And you'd like to think the second half, you're going to see some, put that behind them.
Yeah, that group does have more talent, not a lot of talent, not a lot of depth of talent, but more talent than we've seen. Maybe with Jordan Travis getting more comfortable throwing from the pocket and having an identity, that you'll see some of these guys kind of take ownership, as you wrote about in the column, and emerge a little bit in the second half. Always appreciate it, brother. You be good.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, take care. IrishFL, Warchant.com. Yeah, you're doing kind of taking inventory during the bye week. It's an extended bye week, oddly enough, as you have an opportunity to play a UMass team. And I know people roll their eyes to hear me say that. They go, have we not learned our lesson? You thought we couldn't lose to Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State would be favored by a lot over the likes of UMass. That's how bad this UMass team is. Yes, I'm confident in saying that they're not going to lose to UMass. In fact, they're going to win comfortably against UMass.
I'm just interested in the fact that, we talked about recruiting a little bit ourselves earlier, and I echo the sentiments that, Mike Norvell was saying, well, it's sure nice to get on the road and be able to do it. That's a good thing for the program. Probably is going to help the program
a little bit.
But I come back to ahead of this week, if you treat this game with maturity in a way that we did not treat the Jacksonville State game with maturity, and that's from the coaching staff on down, starts at the top. You handle business and you get some of these banged up players in the trenches and in other key positions off the field by halftime, early third quarter at the latest, then you've given them the best shot that you could possibly have given them with the bye week to be healthy for the stretch run. 4 critical games against Clemson, NC State, Miami, and Boston College. I mean, come on now. You've got to have those guys ready to go, and we're about to play in more physical games. Whether or not these are opponents that are as good as we thought they were in the preseason is immaterial. I think it's a fact that when you play Clemson, NC State, Miami back-to-back, those are 3 really physical games. And you have to be in good condition in order to be able to survive those games and not suffer the attrition that'll put you in a position going on the road to BC and say, well, we don't have anybody left. There's nobody left.
The oddity of us having fun at the expense of a bye week before the UMass game, saying, are you kidding me? Wouldn't we rather have this before the Clemson game? The oddity is that was all preseason talk for us. This bye week could not have come at a better time. Of course, there's no way of projecting who's going to be hurt, who's not, when that happens. But they were getting slightly, ever so slightlier, healthier is what I was trying to say, on the offensive line prior to the game against North Carolina. And it showed. You saw them actually win the line of scrimmage, I dare say. There were a lot of factors in that, in particular with the way in which Jordan Travis was able to utilize and successfully read. The read option stuff from him was, he was remarkable, and that opens things up. Obviously, that adds another dimension to the running game. It helps you just mathematically, the extra hat. But that indicator that they were getting better and healthier, and then we get this bye. I'm just holding my breath that another step forward is taken, because if there was any way that you were going to dream of being in the game on the road against Clemson, it's that's the recipe, is that they continue to get healthy and they get stronger and they get confident and they get more reps together, even in a game like this, coming off the bye, but they also get off the field earlier, say mid third quarter, maybe even earlier. And then you got an opportunity to go up there and hold your own for a half, put game pressure on Clemson, who's already really reeling when it comes to confidence. You can see that. You can see sort of the false bravado. You brought it up before, where Dabo is trying to proclaim, how big a deal it is to go win on the road against that team, against Syracuse. So maybe, just maybe, it's possible with our front four going against a very struggling offensive line for Clemson. Maybe you are in it.
Yeah, what's also interesting about this particular matchup with Clemson is, again, they play Pitt in between. So who has the advantage for the longer period of time to rest up? That was a tight game that Clemson had to play against Syracuse. Sure, they get the extra day out of it, but that's not, a huge deal.
Yeah.
They play Pitt. We go bye week, UMass, Clemson. It's not a pipe dream, and it's not unreasonable to expect that we're in the game with Clemson in 2 weeks. It's not unreasonable to expect that we play with them toe-to-toe because of the way they're playing this season. Is it unreasonable to project a win at this point? It's possible, but I don't know if it's reasonable to say we're going to go up and we're beating Clemson. That's just the end of it. We're a better football team. That's a little far for me, but I would be more shocked than not if Clemson was 2 and 3 scores ahead in the second half when we play up there in 2 weeks. They don't score enough.
Well, they don't, and not against anybody, seemingly. Really, we remember they should have lost to Boston College.
14 against Georgia Tech. What are we doing here?
It's unimaginable that we sit here today, the week of the UMass game, given where we were 2 weeks ago, and we're having a straight-faced conversation about the possibility of being in the game on the road against Clemson. We thought before the season, with all that had happened, and then we saw, let's say we thought right after the Jacksonville State game, that there was reason to believe that you could lose that game by 42. And you wouldn't even
no
bat an
doubt.
eyelash, right? Yeah.
No doubt.
Now you'd be stunned if Florida State lost by more than 14, 21.
Yeah. They get into the 20s, into the 20s,
right?
That would be like, man.
I think we'd be.
Did they
surprised.
figure something out just in time? That stinks.
You'd have a reason to be bitterly disappointed.
Well, I expect to be in a toe-to-toe street fight with Clemson. That's fair. It has to be.
Yeah, maybe. It's just I'd have to pinch myself to believe that, but I understand the evidence on the field suggests it's true. They're having a larger issue at Clemson beyond the offensive line. That's why I agree with you. Is that it's more than personnel. There's something else happening there, and we've watched this happen to any number of programs, including our own. So we know what it looks like.
I hope it's multiple things. I hope it's not just one thing.
I hope it's 17 different things.
Something
and they can't
different.
survive it. People resign.
You're talking to Walt Deptula next week. He's like, it's something every day. I get a call every day about something else going wrong.
I'm actually looking forward to that conversation. I have to agree. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at woodenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. T-SparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish here. If you know me, you know how much I love to grill, smoke, and cook outside. With the holidays just right around the corner and the cooler weather, there's nothing better than a backyard fire pit or a custom outdoor kitchen. But where do you start? Well, you start at Hearth and Patio of Tallahassee. They have everything for gas grilling, charcoal, standalone grills, built-ins, custom kitchens, unique high-end fire pits, and you can even build your own pizza oven. And don't forget about maintaining your indoor fireplace. If it hasn't been used in a while, it's a good idea to have Hearth and Patio come take a look at it to make sure it's safe to use. Or you can replace the whole thing and transform the look and style of your room. If it has anything to do with fire, you need to call Hearth and Patio. Write this number down. It's 727-4282. That's 727-4282. or you can always check out their website to view all their products and services at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Are you asking me if I have gig Wi-Fi capabilities from Xfinity, sir?
I am asking you if you have gig Wi-Fi capabilities from Xfinity.
I have all types of capabilities from Xfinity, and let me tell you about some of them right now.
You have 50 Mbps?
Megabits per second? Like it's nothing, man. You should see some of the things that are downloaded off of Xbox Live, you know, when I get the new games. I've got the EA Pass, so every time that they create a new title, so it's like, say, Madden 22 right now, that means Madden 21 is available to me. I'm not paying that premium price to get the brand new game. I get last year's game.
Buddy. All right.
But those 50 gigs, I download that game like nothing. I use the Xfinity Stream app in my home, Chromecast it, patch it all together. It's like having your cable box throughout the home.
Click or call 1-800-XFINITY or visit an Xfinity store today. Also, gig Wi-Fi requires gig internet. I got to get that right. I almost said something bad there. I had caught myself.
All right. Yep. The gig internet. Gig
internet and compatible gateway. Actual speeds vary, but this goes all the way through the 31st of October.
There we go.
A special offer, $300 back when you get gig speed internet. Get started with 50 Mbps. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's megabits per second. There you go.
All you kids know about this stuff. I just know, does this work?
You need to know, is it going to buffer or not?
$20 a month for 12 months with a 1-year agreement.
Xfinity Stream app, man. That's how I put Red Zone on that, and then the featured game on the right on the back deck, and you wouldn't even know it. You'd be like, Tom, how much does it cost to have 2 coax cables run out here? I'm like, I don't know. There's only one. There's only one, plus the Stream app.
My man.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's do some probables. I want to get this done because I'm excited about this game, and I'm excited about tomorrow's game, and I'm excited about Monday Night Football because I'm betting on it. Here we go. Let's get to, brought to you by North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Stros Red Sox. Come on, Red Sox. Can't deal anybody but the Stros. Back-to-back grand slams. First inning, second inning. What are we doing here? You saw that, right?
Yeah, I did.
A whole lot of sucking.
How about the sequence for Kike Hernandez on Friday?
Yeah.
Boy, I got the giggities now.
Yeah.
Makes that diving catch with 2 outs, breaks in on the ball, gets a great jump on a little flare into left center field, then hits a 450-foot dong the next half inning.
You sound like Boston's play-by-play man. What a great jump.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jose Urquidy goes for the Astros. Eduardo Rodriguez going for the Red Sox. Tomorrow, Braves Dodgers, you'll get Charlie Morton. Morton!
Uh-oh. Up 2-0 with Morton on the mound?
Could this be 3-0?
Oh, no.
Come on, Charlie Morton. Walker Buehler.
Trapper Keeper.
Going for the Dodgers. Also, don't forget, we'll also get that the game on Tuesday. You get back-to-back games, 5 o'clock and then 8 o'clock. Stros Red Sox again. That'll be game 4, and that is TBD versus TBD. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. If you're LSU, to put a ribbon on this real quickly, Joe Brady, Luke Fickell, Billy Napier, Dave Aranda, Lane Kiffin, Mel Tucker, Mark Stoops, James Franklin, Mario Cristobal, Jimbo Fisher, your pool of coaches, it is said to be.
So you're saying I got to rank them? Is that what you're saying?
Spend some time this evening sitting around between games deciding who of that bunch would you hire.
Yeah, well, I think
Miami ought to go after Mario Cristobal. Would he take that job? Would you leave Oregon for that job? Because you have unlimited money at Oregon, although you're stuck in the Pacific Northwest. And I say stuck, while that's a beautiful area of the country to live, it is also the middle of nowhere when it comes to recruiting.
So this is Miami making a choice.
I just brought him up because his name has been mentioned as a possible candidate at LSU.
So for Miami, you would go Cristobal, Stoops, right? Those are the top two. If you've got the money to make it happen, those are the two that you got to go after.
I would do that, yes.
If you're LSU, you're going Joe Brady.
You're going Jimbo probably.
Jimbo,
first knowing Woodward.
and maybe Aranda, just to see, all right, how buttoned up is he?
Also, really quick, just to clarify some things for folks on the board here, Jimbo Fisher does have a massive contract at Texas A&M. It does not include a penalty to leave.
Correct. Yeah. The buyout is if he's fired because Texas A&M would have to pay him all the money.
Right.
But if he leaves, there is no buyout.
There is no
he
buyout.
can just walk.
He can walk whenever he wants, which is a crazy deal because he's got all the money and all the power.
To the guy who originally said yes to the deal at LSU when he created and crafted that deal at Texas A&M to get Jimbo there.
Yes.
Oh, the irony. Now they extended it and Strickland was gone, but there it is.
Buffalo at Tennessee. We watching a blowout tonight? We're watching Buffalo big again. Are they going to put the hammer down?
It feels like it.
It does feel like it. Also doesn't feel like Tennessee's viable.
No, it's an incomplete pass over the head of Julio Jones again. You know, that's what it feels like. It's like, man, that's just not going to work, is it? As they're punting and Buffalo's up 17-0 getting the ball.
How fun was Dallas, New England?
That was crazy.
Crazy game while we were doing the Sunday Smash. That was nuts.
You ruined it because you had a lead broadcast by about 10 seconds.
How? How is mine? My internet speed must be faster than your internet speed.
No.
My gig speed is faster than
I
your
was
gig
doing
speed.
I was doing the show, producing the show from the CP.
Oh, that's right.
I was producing from the CP because I needed to get away from animal dander and the ragweed, and so I decided I want to watch football while I'm doing that. So I went for the 4 o'clock window to the CP, and I think the DirecTV feed is just that much slower than the Xfinity feed.
Little did I know that when I proclaimed touchdown Dallas, that it would ruin it for you and everybody else.
They hadn't even lined up on the ball.
What are we doing?
I was like, what is he talking about?
Touchdown Dallas, game's overtime, you can go home.
you're piping in, say that's another big play for the Cowboys.
Yes.
Touchdown Cowboys.
You're like, stop doing that. It's like me with the old MLB app.
Yep.
Ding. Oh, Tom.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you and I are talking about relative conference strength or coaching circle, carousel, whatever, and you're like, oh, my God, New England just scored. I'm like,
it's 2nd and 7. They're at the 50. How?
I wish that you were the only person in the world that got that information. Like, not even in Foxborough. They didn't know. So I could live bet. I could just hammer touchdown plus 6,000 on this play.
I'll tell you what, this is another reminder that Vegas is on the pulse of everything that happens in the National Football League. Baltimore favored against the Chargers after we watched that Chargers team, and Baltimore beat that ass. And by the way, congratulations, Devonta Freeman was the leading rusher in that game.
What's interesting is before that game kicked off, and I'll take a look, I found a place where there are extra metrics, and it's not like, anything crazy. It's just they put all these metrics together from the advanced scouting services. And the numbers demanded that Baltimore was going to run it right down the Chargers' throat.
Well,
and they would be able to, and I was scared as I was watching. I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. Have I found the Almanac and Back to the Future too?
Oh, please
Have I found Biff Tannen's Almanac?
Let's go.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it for tonight's game after the show's over and see what it says.
You saw where Aaron Rodgers endeared himself to Chicago fans forevermore, as if he hadn't already with a 10-3 record there. Now 11-3 all time at Soldier Field.
Boy, oh boy, celebrating in October. That's what he does.
No, but did you hear the celebration?
I did.
He's not wrong, but it's a toughie.
Yeah, but that's who he is, man. He's the one who did the pelvic thrust in Tampa before he quit last year.
No, he
like
didn't.
A clown. He quit 20 minutes after he did the pelvic thrust.
Raced.
Yeah.
Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate it. Be well. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Seminole Headlines. Peace.